Good evening. Welcome to North West Tonight with Annabelle Tiffin. Our top story: a teenager accused of the murder of Brianna Ghey in Warrington tells a court she fantasised about killing people. But the girl says she had no intention of carrying it out. Also tonight, reunited with her children who she fears she'd never see again, the teacher who escaped from Gaza.
I'm still in shock, and it's a miracle for me. Islam, she's back home.
Sally has a rare progressive bone disease. She wants a drug prescribed in Scotland to be allowed here. The Chanel catwalk showcasing Manchester.
It's a real privilege just to have Chanel in Manchester, you know? So to be here, to witness it, amazing.
And I'm here in a flower. This is one of the 15 light installations here at Salford Lightwaves. So come back to me at the end of the programme. I'll bring you the full forecast and I'll show you some more of the amazing displays.
A 16-year-old girl has told a court she fantasised about killing people but had no intention of doing it. Girl X is accused of the murder of Brianna Ghey in Warrington, along with another teen known as Boy Y at Cultured Linear Park earlier this year. During their trial at Manchester Crown Courts, they've blamed each other for her killing. Well, our reporter Eunice Muller has been in court today. So, Eunice, just bring us up to date as to what happened today.
Annabelle, with the prosecution closing its case, the defence called its first witness, Girl X, one of the defendants. She, along with her co-defendant, Boy Y, cannot be named for legal reasons, and both denied a murder of Brianna Ghey earlier this year. Mrs. Justice Yip told the jury the defendant would give evidence behind a screen. That was to stop her from getting distracted and would mean the best evidence is heard. Now, Richard Pratt Casey, representing the defendant, took the court through messages sent before Brianna's body was found. The defendant told the court that she had accessed dark materials from a restricted part of the internet because she was interested in murder, torture and violence, something that was shared with Boy Y in a number of messages. She said that she fantasized about killing, but she said she had never had any intention of killing anyone. She was asked about a list of children that was allegedly drawn up to also be killed. She said again, she had no intention of killing anyone. Those were part of what she called a fantasy thing.
And Eunice, what about her relationship with Brianna?
She said both were friends, they knew each other, they communicated online. She said she also found Brianna Ghey, who was transgender, attractive, but she wasn't obsessed with her. That was a reference to a message in which she said that she was. She denied that. She also said she wasn't anti-transgender, but she said that Boy Y did not agree with anyone who was either trans or gay. She was asked about a message in which she says that she tried to kill Brianna Ghey with an overdose of pills. She denied that. She said, if anything, they did go to Asda to buy some drugs, but that was to see if they could get high. Now, both defendants here at Manchester Crown Court deny murder.
Eunice, thanks very much. Now, 3 months ago, teacher Islam Alashi travelled to Gaza to visit her ill father. But when war broke out, she was trapped thousands of miles away from her young children. Well, their school in Wallasey has been lobbying the government to help get her back home. Well, now she has finally been reunited with her 5-year-old twins. And you might need your tissues to watch this story. Our social affairs correspondent, Abby Jones, has this exclusive report.
That moment was the best moment in my life because I lost hope that I will get back to my kids. I felt that I will never see them again. I just cuddled them in my lap, putting them in my lap and cry and cry. Oh, I feel like I'm just living a new life now. That this is my new beginning with them.
Back home in Wallasey, Islam Alashi still can't believe she's been reunited with twins Omar and Lamar and husband Fayez. Just a week ago, she was living in a huge tented refugee camp near the Egyptian border, drinking rainwater to survive.
I feel that I will never get back to England because how severe the war was. When we left our house, they destroyed it completely. Bombing is everywhere, so during the day you hear the bombing, during the night you can't sleep at all, not even a minute. All that time I'm just talking to my God saying, please save my children if they are staying alone after I die.
I'm still in shock, and it's a miracle for me. Islam, she's back home. My happiness is not going to carry on till my wife, she will be with her father and her sister and niece.
Alashi's dad, who's 70 and in poor health, is still stuck in Gaza with her sister and young niece, waiting to be let into Yemen.
Since I knew that my name is on the border, I looked to my dad and my sister with worried eyes. I'm asking them, shall I go to see my kids? And my dad said, you have to do it. Go to your kids, go to England back, Baba. And it was a very bad choice to choose between your dad and my sister, leaving them in a war, and feel guilty that I left them there. I don't want to feel guilty anymore. I want them to go out to escape from the war and the bombing.
Omar and Lamar's school lobbied their MP and even the Prime Minister to get Islam back to her children.
Lamar and Omar, they're coming in now, they're excited and they're happy every day. Mum's back dropping them off, and it's just been wonderful to see them all back together again.
For them to be reunited, I just can't tell you how wonderful that moment was. And the 5th of December will now forever be Islam Alashi Day in Riverside.
School is my hero. They helped me a lot to escape from the war. So everything they did for me and for the kids and for my husband, I will never forget it.
Abby Jones, BBC North West Tonight, Wallasey.
Lovely ending to that story. Now, a woman who died after crashing her car while being followed by Greater Manchester Police has been named as 20-year-old Zena Giorgio. Her family say she was a beautiful, loving and caring girl. She died in hospital after her BMW crashed into a parked car in Sale last Sunday. Her passenger was critically injured. The Independent Office for Police Conduct has launched an investigation. Rail services in the region have been hit by another strike by train drivers. The dispute over pay will affect Northern and Trans-Pennine Express. There could also be disruption tomorrow as a knock-on effect. The cost of using the Mersey tunnels could be going up. Under the proposals, the toll for car users from outside the city region will rise to £2.10. That's an increase of 10 pence. A decision's due at the Liverpool City Region Combined Authority meeting next Friday. And a bid has been made to protect the Isle of Man's only flour mill from possible demolition in the future. Laxey Glen Flour Mill, which dates back to the 1860s, is being considered for registered status by the government. The future of milling on the island has been in doubt since last year's closure of the island's largest bakery, which was the mill's biggest customer. Now, a woman from Stockport says she is devastated that she can't get a drug which she believes will help her with her rare progressive bone disease. It's called XLH and it affects the growth of Sally Haddon's bones and teeth and leaves her in a lot of pain. But the drug hasn't been approved for use on the NHS for adults here in England. Well, before we meet Sally, let's have a look at a video that she's made sharing her experience of living with XLH.
In terms of what it's like living with it day to day, it is just a constant background noise. You feel tired and you feel vulnerable and you feel in a little bit of pain, and I think that can start to translate into how you feel about yourself and how you approach the world. A lot of the medical information about XLH, when we talk about phosphate deficiency and weak bones, it doesn't actually tell you what that's like to live with if your bones are tired all the time and they are weak all the time. People my age just aren't on orthopaedic wards. People might, apart from having a big accident, you don't have things that I have at my age. It's hard because I've had the same operation a few years ago and we knew the other fracture was there and it might happen. Then when there was an opportunity to speak to people, I did have that fear of, I don't know how much about this I want to know and do I want to open this Pandora's box, but it's just been a very supportive place and the information I've had has been really useful. It does make me think about the future, and I think it was only when I started to find out more about it that I was even aware that it could be progressive and things could start getting worse. It's helpful to have that awareness and it makes me think more about doing things that I want to do while I've got the chance.
Well, I'm pleased to say that Sally is here. That full video that you made, there's more of it, it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Just explain, why did you want to make that video?
I think the effect of XLH in adults is really misunderstood. So it can have a great impact in children, but as you get older, it's not as known how it affects you. And I think for me, it's starting to have more of an effect. And I realised I just wanted to get that out there and get the information out there.
Now, at the moment, as I mentioned before, there is a drug out there that you desperately want. What's the problem? Why can't you get it?
So from what I understand, it's, as I say, getting across that impact that it has in adults, because it is progressive and it does get worse all the time. And we understand that NICE have to weigh up the evidence and they have to make it beneficial to the NHS as well. But that's what we want to communicate, is the impact of living with this day to day is massive. And particularly the fractures that were mentioned in the video, they have a huge effect and they require surgery. But also, because of how XLH impacts my bones, it means that I don't heal as well. The surgeries are much more complex, and that's the type of evidence that we're trying to gather now to demonstrate why it's needed.
And at the moment, NICE are saying that the evidence isn't there, that it can really help patients. Is that correct?
They've shown that the evidence is there and they've agreed that the drug works, which is fantastic, but it's communicating that the impact that this has on people, because at the moment the current treatment just isn't adequate. It doesn't address the underlying cause, and there hasn't been any new treatment for decades, really, whereas a treatment like this, without it, we do face progressing in our condition and almost sort of permanent disability in the end without some new treatment.
But you can get it if you're in Scotland?
Yes, yes, it's been approved in Scotland.
That must be so frustrating for you.
It is. It's hard, and I feel as if I'm in limbo at the moment, because I know a lot about the condition and I know how it can go, but even in the past couple of years, for me personally, the progression has been worse than I expected. So I don't know, at the moment, the future is so uncertain, because without this, it's very difficult.
I was going to ask you, I mean, how does the future look for you if you can't get this drug?
I think at the moment the pain's getting worse already, and the fatigue. I've had to change my working patterns even, or we're getting married next year and we've had to postpone the honeymoon because I might need more treatment without a drug like this. And it's so unknown, but what we do know about it is that it will only get worse and only get more difficult, and that's very hard to get your head around. And as I say, at the moment I feel a bit in limbo, because I don't know what I need to prepare for, or if there is this drug. From what we've seen from other members of the community, it's absolutely life-changing and even alleviates some symptoms that they currently feel. So it would make a huge difference to have access.
And the door is not completely closed on this drug. You can still... How can you persuade NICE, if you like? You still have a chance, do you?
Yeah, so it's a preliminary decision, and I think it's early next year that they'll make the final decision. So that's what we're doing at the moment at XLH UK, is gathering evidence and just really trying to communicate that day-to-day impact. I think because there's been no treatment, we haven't really talked about it, because it's felt like there's no reason it's not going to help, whereas now we've got that chance to have a drug approved.
Well, we'll love to follow your story and wish you all the best as well. Sally, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Now, as we reported last week, Liverpool City Council has written to the government seeking help for what it calls a homelessness emergency. The cost of providing temporary accommodation is now 80 times higher than just 3 years ago. Our reporter Claire Hamilton has been to a cafe serving rough sleepers, where an indie music icon has been helping out.
You getting one off me?
Yes, I am.
Oh, well, you can have a double espresso.
More used to being behind the mic with his band The Charlatans than behind the counter in a coffee shop, for this pop star, using his voice to turn the spotlight on issues close to his heart is as important as singing his much-loved hits.
Well, you know, I mean, I'm not political, but I like people, and maybe that's a political thing. I don't know, but Liverpool's got you know, a pretty bad homeless situation, and Michelle's single-handedly taking it on. You know, she's like doing something about it, and I think that's an amazing thing. Yeah.
And what kind of reaction did you have last time you worked here? I mean, did you meet anyone who'd experienced homelessness? Or?
Yeah, I did. I mean, and they criticised my coffee making, you know, but that's fine. You know, it's good.
The cafe operates a pay-it-forward scheme where people can buy coffee for a vulnerable person. For customers like Ryan, who's been sleeping outside for nearly a year, it's a small gesture that means a lot.
First, I ended up sleeping in my car, and then it gradually declined that I can't maintain my car anymore, so then I have to start sleeping outside.
And what about this place? What has this place meant for you?
Yeah, this place, every time I come here, I always get exactly what I need. I even used to get hats, but yeah, this place, it always gives me a hot drink and a little bite to eat.
As well as rough sleepers, there are many more hidden homeless in Liverpool. The council says over 550 households are currently living in bed and breakfasts. Over half are families with children.
I actually spoke to someone from the council yesterday because I walked around town and I said to them, this is the worst I've seen it in the 8 years that I've been doing this with the charity. This is the worst I've seen it. I saw all the tents that have popped up in town. I've never seen as many as I saw yesterday, and I was really, really shocked.
In Liverpool, that there are hundreds of people who are in temporary accommodation being paid for by the council. Do you see that as well?
We do, yeah. We have a lot of customers who are in hostels, temporary accommodation, not just in Liverpool but across the country. Over 100,000 kids are going to wake up on Christmas Day not in their own home, and I just think that's heartbreaking.
The government says it's given Liverpool almost £4 million to prevent homelessness. Charities like this, though, say it's not enough, and they'll continue to make a noise about the issue. Claire Hamilton, BBC North West Tonight, Liverpool.
Barrow against Gillingham in League Two, by the way, has been postponed because of a waterlogged pitch. One match that won't be affected is the big Lancashire derby in the third round of the Women's FA Cup, where Darwin, who have an artificial pitch, that's why, host Blackburn Rovers. It's a dream tie for sixth-tier Darwin. They're the lowest team still ranked in the competition, who welcome a Rovers team who play 5 levels above them. And as I found out today, excitement is really starting to build. This was what it meant for Darwin women to get through to the third round and a dream tie against Blackburn Rovers.
It's massive for us as a club. It's never happened before in our history, so it's really exciting.
Excitement that is expected to bring about 1,500 fans through the gates. A very big crowd at this level, with preparations at the club in full swing. Vivian is one of the club's volunteers, whose 7-year-old granddaughter will be one of the mascots for the big game. How are you going to feel when you see her walk out with the rest of the players, and what is a huge day for this club?
Emotional, like a normal grandmother. Probably a few tears, and the clubs, I've been near the club up a lot of my life, really. So like a volunteer, help out, and I just love it.
As does the man in charge of the team, who knows that Blackburn Rovers, who might only be 5 miles away, but play 5 leagues higher up, will be a huge challenge.
To get Rovers, to play Rovers in the third round, it's brilliant. You know, it's like a dream come true for a few of the squad.
We're not taking the game lightly. We're really excited for the fixture, and the FA Cup's a competition we're taking really seriously this year.
You really can't overstate just how big a deal this is for all of these players. There's teachers, there's a nurse, there's a police officer amongst the squad. They've all got other jobs. And no matter what the result here against Blackburn Rovers, it's just going to be a huge occasion for all of these players.
It's probably the biggest game in the club's history. I'm excited. I think everybody's excited. It's going to be a fantastic day.
It really is, and for you, so you play for Blackburn Rovers. I've got to say, you're a Rovers fan. I mean, this is going to be very special for you.
Yeah, it's extra special, I think.
How proud are you of this club?
can't even put it into words. It makes me emotional, super proud, really, really proud of the club and everybody.
Pride and excitement that ahead of Sunday is certain to continue to gather pace.
Best of luck to all our teams in the competition, of course. Now, Sale Sharks welcome back England star Manu Tuilagi from injury for Sunday's Champions Cup game against Stade Francais. The centre hasn't played for Sale this season, but is fully recovered after breaking his hand during the Rugby World Cup. Great to see Manu back for Sale, Annabelle, one of the real standout players for England during the World Cup. He'll make a big difference, I'm sure.
Richard, thank you very much. Now, I know you were probably keeping a very close eye on the goings-on in Manchester yesterday. A big Chanel
as
fan.
Always.
I know you are.
I don't like to mention it, but yeah, now you have.
Well, it was a very exciting night in Manchester last night. I'm sure you all know. Models, celebrities and musicians packed into central Manchester as the French luxury brand Chanel turned it into a catwalk for a prestigious fashion show. None of us were invited, sadly, though, were we? The event had been shrouded in secrecy, with parts of the city closed off for weeks. The fashion house said it chose Manchester because of its pop culture and textile history. Juliet Phillips reports.
With Manchester's Northern Quarter as the stage, legendary fashion label Chanel certainly put on a show. Models, celebrities... Hi there. And the children of Manchester icons Liam and Noel Gallagher filled the front row. Even A-list actors couldn't keep away.
Are you enjoying the waitress?
Yeah, I am. On the red carpet was Manchester rapper Bugsy Malone.
It's a real privilege just to have Chanel in Manchester, you know? So to be here, to witness it, amazing, I've had a great time.
So this is the beautiful invite.
Wow, look at that.
For the Chanel show.
Tailor to the stars Nafisa Tosh from Bolton made sure Bugsy's outfit was nipped and tucked in all the right places. She adapted Chanel pieces to fit celebrities including Tilda Swinton and Kristen Stewart.
I work on the outfits and I tailor them so that everybody's comfortable, because if you're not comfortable in an outfit, it shows. And all that work has to be done temporarily. I'm not allowed to cut any fabric. Because it has to be put back so that the outfit can be sent out for the rest of the season, for magazines, editorial, red carpet events, etc.
How proud were you then to have Chanel right here in Manchester?
I am so proud. I'm still buzzing now because the Metier show's been shown. That connection is concreted, you know, with Manchester and Chanel. You know, it's such a huge thing for Manchester, and I'm so proud of my city.
With it being Chanel, I imagine the after-show party was just amazing.
It was off the scale. I worked with Tilda Swinton quite a bit and her stylist Jerry Stafford. Jenna Coleman was there, and Gugu Mbatha Raw, and Millie Brady. So, you know, it's great when you tailor these people and then you see them in the outfits.
The party might now be over, but no doubt Manchester will continue to celebrate its moment as the capital of couture for many months to come. Juliet Phillips, BBC North West Tonight.
Yeah, it is a great thing for the city, isn't it? Even if we weren't invited to the after party. Now, speaking of style and fashion, we're going to move on to the weather now. Kay, we saw her making her beautiful entrance earlier out of a flower. She is on Salford Quays for us this evening. That is the view from outside our offices. Kay, before you give us the weather, I'm just going to do a quick warning because I think there's going to be some flashing images. Just a warning for people that don't like those. Look away. Kay, tell us all about it.
Yeah, there are some flashing images, Annabelle. I'm pleased you took me out the studio because I'm here in one of the 15 light installations here at Media City, all part of Salford Light Waves. Now, this particular one's called Pulse. There are over 14,000 LED lights. It's amazing, and some incredible sounds as well. Now, the best part about it is it's totally free and it's on until Sunday at 10 p.m, so lots of time to get on down. But the weather, I can't promise it's going to be dry for the entirety of the weekend. Let's take a look at the forecast. It is unsettled. We are looking at heavy rain at times, the risk of gales as well, but all the while it is milder than average. So if we look at the radar from today, you can see we've had that pile of showers merging into longer spells of rain. It really has been wet out and about. Dry here now at Salford Quays, and as we head through this evening and overnight, most of us will be dry. There are still some showers out and about, but many parts dry. We look to the south to see the next band of rain coming up, and the winds will start to pick up as well, but it will be mild, temperatures down to between about 5 and 9 degrees. Now, we have got a yellow warning in force to cater for strong winds. We're looking at the risk of gales, particularly for the coast as we go through tomorrow, valid until midnight. The band of rain will continue to push up from the south, some heavy downpours, strong winds as well. So although temperatures will get to 11 degrees, 11 is 52 in Fahrenheit, it certainly won't feel like that. Then as we go through tomorrow night, we'll still have showers piling in. Some of those are going to be heavy, but eventually overnight it will become dry, mild again, still breezy. Certainly no frost in the forecast. Looking at the bigger picture for Sunday, we start off dry and fine, and then the rain is going to come through. Still mild, still breezy, some sunshine is expected later on through the day, and by the end of next week temperatures will just start to drop off. And that, Annabelle, is your forecast from this amazing display.
Oh, it looks great. Thank you, Kay. That is it from us for this evening. We will be back at 10:30 for a news update. But for now, from all of us here, have a lovely weekend. Bye-bye.